G'day and welcome to another episode of Ian Smissen's Photography. Today I'm looking at creative challenge number 12, which was macro. Macro photography adds an additional layer of technical challenges beyond the normal photography that you do with landscapes. Because you're doing so close-up photography, you need to have your shutter speed, your aperture really well set so that you reduce the camera vibration, because obviously the closer up you are to something, any little minor vibration in the camera is going to be exaggerated in the final image. And secondly, aperture, with controlling the depth of field, means that you have to really concentrate on how much of the subject you want in focus. So I'm going to wander around here and see what I can find. I may not find anything because it's been very dry here. It has rained a little bit over the last week, but the ground is so dry that there won't be a lot of little orchids popping up or fungi and so on. So I'll give it a try and see what I come up with. Now, for this shot, you can see I've got the camera set up on this little dead flower head. It's a lovely cinnamon orange colour, and the background is in shade, but the flower heads themselves are backlit from the sun. So I'm going to try and take some different compositions of this and focus firstly in on this top head here, and then some of the lower ones, and possibly turn to vertical and shoot straight onto it, because there are some really nice shapes and patterns with these different flower heads that I can get. And there's just enough detail of these little grasses behind. The challenge is going to be to get a fast enough shutter speed. If I just switch over to video here, and show you what I can see, then you can see there's a fair bit of movement. Even this tiny little breeze low down to the ground, there's a fair bit of movement in here. So I have to get a shutter speed that's fast enough to freeze this. But fortunately, I also want to be fairly wide open because I want a very shallow depth of field, just enough depth of field to cover the depth of those flowers, but I want everything behind it to be out of focus. Enough detail in it to be able to distinguish different tones and different colours, but I don't want any details so that I can identify them as sticks or branches or grass and so on. I'm hoping though that this little bit of grass here will add just a subtle out of focus counterpoint to the detailed in focus in here. So I'm going to get myself a shutter release because I don't want any camera movement, and then I'm going to give it a go and see what I come up with.
And one last thing before I sign off, I'd really like to thank you all for the positive feedback you've been giving me in the comments and the private messages people have sent. I really enjoy doing these videos for you, and 2 or 3 people have asked me if I would go and shoot particular locations around the state of Victoria, and I've already got these on my to-do list for the next few months. But if there's anywhere you'd like to see in southeastern Australia, particularly in the state of Victoria, a day trip or an overnight trip away from Melbourne, then I'd be happy to go and do it. I really want to show off my beautiful country, but also show you some of the locations that you can come and shoot, or to give you inspiration for shooting around your area in similar locations. So thanks again for the feedback. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, click the bell button so that you get notified. And most importantly, remember pixels are free, so get out there and shoot more. Bye.